The news just broke that American B-2 bombers hit Iranian nuclear facilities. I think some cruise missiles fired from submarines were used as well. I want to give you my first thoughts. First off, note that I'm at a friend's house in Virginia Beach right now, proving that every single time I leave the house, something big happens. I'm actually on my way to Fort Novosel tomorrow at 5 in the morning. Fort Novosel is previously known as Fort Rucker. I'm there to do a video on the Army's flight school. So again, global events have perfect timing. This is also proof that the movie Top Gun Maverick would have been about 5 minutes long had they just used the B-2 bomber. Now, ever since Masha Amini was murdered for wearing a hat incorrectly, I've been in touch with everyday Iranians. They are some of the most incredible people. I have eaten Iranian food and socialized with Iranians like Marjan, who fled the regime. The U.S. has nothing against the people of Iran. I want you to watch the movie The Iran Job, which was a 2012 documentary about U.S. basketball player Kevin Shepard. He was never quite good enough for the NBA, and then one day he got a call to play for an Iranian basketball team, so he flew there and he played. There is a scene in this documentary where it's almost Christmas and Shepard wants a Christmas tree. The Iranians bent over backwards to figure out how to get him a Christmas tree, something most of them had never even heard of. That's Iran. That's the real Iran. So what comes next after these strikes? Well, odds are we'll probably see theater ballistic missile and drone attacks against U.S. bases in the Middle East. Some of those missiles and drones might get through. There is a possibility that there may be some U.S. casualties. We also might see terrorist attacks in the U.S. Now, this part might ruffle some feathers, but I need to say it, and I sure hope you are mature enough to handle this. I am an analyst, not a politician. There is a non-zero chance that Iranian agents exploited our porous southern border. We don't know who's here, and in the coming weeks, we might find out in the worst way. And that's actually the scariest scenario for me, a terrorist attack or multiple terrorist attacks on U.S. soil conducted by Iranians or their proxies who are here in the U.S. illegally. That is the nightmare scenario for me. Arresting day laborers might play well to the president's base, but we need to prioritize and figure out if there's any potential terrorists who could be operating in this country. And in all honesty, all the Free Palestine students need to get a second look as well, because they've already been compromised by Iranian propaganda. It's not that much of a leap into kinetic activities, especially if you've been brainwashed. Let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz. This is Iran's ace card. About 20 million barrels of oil pass through the Strait of Hormuz each day. It's narrow, it's vulnerable, it's right in Tehran's backyard. Iran could use anti-ship missiles and mines to make navigating the straits very treacherous for merchant mariners. All you need to do is look at how the Houthis essentially shut down the Bab el-Mandeb Strait by lobbing missiles and drones at ships. Now, could the U.S. hit Iranian anti-ship missile sites? Yeah, we could, but there's always a cost. It could mean airstrikes. It could mean hunting drone launch sites the way the coalition hunted Saddam's Scud missiles during the first Gulf War. It could also mean escorting tankers with destroyers, kind of like we did during the 1987 Operation Earnest Will. It's also possible that Iran could try to mine the Straits of Hormuz. We do have minesweepers. It's something that the littoral combat ship can do. Now, the president just addressed the nation and said that we were the only military that could have performed this attack, and he's not wrong. Our stealth bombers are highly capable aircraft. Now, we don't have a lot of them, only 19. And like I said before, a good rule of thumb is that at any given time, 1/3 of any kind of aircraft are not available for a mission because they're undergoing maintenance. Now, you can surge those aircraft, you can get all your maintainers and make them work Saturdays and get all those planes ready to go, but you can only do that until they need longer scheduled maintenance. So the more we use stealth bombers, the less available they become, because eventually they will need maintenance. So I think the strategy here, the strategy that the president decided to undertake, is to kind of let Iran know that the ball is in their court now. If they come to the table, the negotiation table, sincerely, and decide to stop enriching uranium and supporting terror, we're cool. The attacks stop. And if they don't, then they will continue with whatever that would means, with whatever kind of airstrikes we're able to perform. The next question is, does this mean World War III? I don't think so. I don't think we would physically see troops on the ground in Iran. Like I've said before, Iran is twice the size of Texas. We can do a lot from the air. But now I want to talk about China. If you watch my video on the order of battle for the People's Liberation Army, well, the People's Liberation Army, the first Gulf War really freaked China out. They saw our capabilities for the very first time, and it scared the crap out of them. And this is why China started modernizing their military. China is probably watching this and taking notes, especially as they think about invading Taiwan, which could happen as early as 2027, 2028. If we can hit hardened Iranian targets halfway around the world, maybe Taiwan isn't really worth the gamble. Maybe it's just easier to buy Taiwan. And you know, the funny thing is one of my fans sent me this book, The Never-Ending War, which is about terrorism in the 1980s. And you know, reading this book, with the exception of the IRA in Ireland, which was heavily promoted by Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, and ETA in Spain, Iran and their proxies had their fingers in just about every single terrorist action in the Middle East. I'm old enough to remember the hijacking of TWA Flight 847, where the plane was taken to Beirut and some of the hostages were given to Hezbollah for safekeeping. Hezbollah is one of Iran's proxies, although since the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad in Syria, they no longer have access to Iranian weapons, or at least no longer have easy access to them. But you know, reading this book, you know, this book was published in 1987. It points back to Iran. Like every single incident in this book, with the exception of the IRA and ETA, it points back to Iran. Iran's been doing this for 45 years. You know, when it comes to regime change, I saw that movie, I lived it, I didn't like the movie, and I'm not too crazy about the sequel. In an ideal world, the Iranian people, perhaps with the help of the Artesh, which is Iran's army, they will rise up and they will throw off their self-destructive leaders. Could we help with that? Well, it worked in Libya until it kind of didn't. You know, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, named Israel's strikes Operation Rising Lion. And if you look at Iran's previous flag, the flag of the Shah had a lion on it. At the end of the day, Iran is an ancient civilization with a crappy government that is barely 45 years old. Cultures outlive regimes, and I sincerely hope, that the Iranian people find a way to reclaim the greatness of their culture and join the community again. Inshallah, Zan Zendegi Azadi. Thank you for watching.